Alright guys, it's LSP. It's currently the 17th of February 2019. It's Sunday, 12:23 PM GMT time. I'm opting to do this now so I can get it out of the way. Give you guys some things to think about throughout the week to come, and what I'm going to be looking at or for. So what I'm going to be doing, or what I've opted to do, is to keep the previous levels that we have on the chart, and then to take away the ones that are not not relevant based on current order flow or what I see on the charts. So right now, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this, and again, all with the idea, guys, of just keeping things simple. Okay, we can get rid of this one. Just kind of clean things up a little bit. So this is our ultimate target, 97.53. Okay, or 97.50. This is where I believe the dollar is going to end up. Am I right? Who knows? But it's important to have something on the chart, right? So if that's not being, like for example, if price is not driving up here and it's going lower, then it kind of gives us what we need to know anyway. So we have to have something, visibly available to us, whether it's something that we write down or whether it's something that we have on the chart, so we can look at it and say, okay, look, I actually believe price is going to go in this direction, and then obviously we take trades according to whatever we see. But if you don't have it on the chart, you're just kind of shooting in the dark, and you're going with whatever you have in that moment. So you sit down, you look at a naked chart, or however you've got your chart set up. Everybody's different, I guess. If you're not prepared and you don't have something in place before you start the week, then you kind of just sit down and you're going with whatever you see at that moment, and it's not always, conducive to good trading. There are some things that pop off the charts at the time, but it's good to be prepared, basically. So this is the thicker lines, as I've said before, and I'm sure you're getting used to the theme now, are our lines in the sand. Don't really want to see price pass much past these points. This one, the 96.35, if price does get through this, which I wouldn't really want it to, I'd like to see some up movement this coming week and start to continue its its grind higher. If it gets through this convincingly and it starts to really grind lower, this is where I would expect price to stop. If it gets through this, then we're just going to have a messy dollar, basically. I really believe that, because there's too much for the dollar to get through on the downside, whereas the path of least resistance is higher. We've got liquidity at this previous high here now. We've got some here. We've got obviously the stops up here. There's plenty of reasons why price should reach higher. And not enough reasons for me personally, as I'm looking at the chart, for price to reach lower. So these are the lines in the sand, and what I'm going to be doing this week, obviously, I've got Monday and Tuesday free, so I'll be doing some videos as normal, and I'll see how Sunday opens, and then I'll see how Monday's price action fares, and we'll take it from there, and I'll update you throughout the week, obviously. So that's the dollar. In terms of the euro, again, I mean, I'm not really sure what just happened there. What did I just do? Oh, right, I just do. Sorry, yeah, it just takes away the bit at the bottom. I was trying to do that. There we go. So we had a pop down there. It's taking out the liquidity here. And what I'm going to do, let me just get rid of this. Okay, taking out the liquidity below this low, and then it's had a really nice rejection. It's a bit more pronounced the way it looks on the euro, but again, we're actually in an area where price shouldn't really go much past the 113 big figure. If it gets through the 113 big figure, then I'd allow it to at least the 113.40, right, and then I would expect a reversal. There's a lot of times when you look at the daily chart and you see movements like this where they come down, 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 and then it starts to get a little bit messy. It builds the idea that there's support down there. Maybe there is, but I'm just saying from what I see, maybe it builds the idea that there's support down there. And it starts to move higher, and there's plenty of traders that go long and they put their stops below this low here, or below the previous day's low, or below the day's low, and expect to drive higher, and they've got crazy targets in mind up here and up here and up here and so on and so on. I don't see that. We're in this consolidation now. There is one thing. This is a very messy consolidation, and we've been in it for quite a while. So it would make sense that price would start to come back into its range, into this consolidation range, and then again just continue to grind sideways and go nowhere. But it's slowly creeping its way down here. And I do believe, like I said, if you remember, when one of the previous videos that I did, it was quite a while ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I marked these levels off down here, and I said at the time, I'm going to leave it on the chart. These equal lows at the time have obviously been taken now, but at the time I'd marked these equal lows down here, and I was saying I was going to leave it on the chart because I just wanted to be aware that it was there and just to have it in the back of my mind, because obviously at the time the price was grinding higher and it was doing okay. And it looks like we were going to potentially start to grind higher and maybe eat into some of the inefficiencies up here, but then it came back into its range and it's just continued to go sideways in this broad range consolidation. But eventually it did come all the way back down there and it took them out. Now it's nothing. Excuse me. It's not about me being right or wrong. Nothing to do with that. The reason I mention it is because it's good to have these levels on your chart. For example, I'm aware there's an inefficiency up here. I'm aware there's a candle up here that is relevant to me in the way that I trade. I'm aware of these highs and so on and so on. But being aware of these levels, and then as price starts to grind, it's almost like as price starts to get closer to these levels, if it ever does, it's almost like you knew beforehand, if that kind of makes sense. It's a bit weird, but you're kind of preparing yourself for pretty much every scenario, and you're trying to stay on top of current order flow. Because ultimately, like I said, everybody else has their own goals, but for me personally, the only thing I'm looking for is 20 to 30 pips. I did one trade last week in terms of my own personal trading. It was a euro trade. 20.9 pips. That was it. I was happy. Done for the week. The United States dollar versus CAD trade, or the UC trade that I took. It's just a study trade. It's got nothing to do with my own personal trading. I do believe it's going high, but UC, although I'm not going to go into it, is very wacky. It does whatever. This is why it's called the loony. It just does whatever it wants sometimes. You would expect it, obviously, with it being a dollar front currency, that it would go up with the dollar and down with the dollar, but it's simply not the case. I'll be honest with you. In almost all cases, it's a lagging. It's a lagging pair. I've seen the dollar rip to the upside while UC is going lower, and then it catches up and it starts to grind higher again. It's really bizarre, and it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, but I like to study it because it keeps you. It keeps you, like, I've got my pairs. I trade the dollar, I trade the euro, and I trade the cable. Okay, sorry, I'll say that again. The three that you see, the dollar, cable, and euro, I trade cable and I trade euro on my main account. That's the only thing that I don't trade anything else on my main account. But I have the smaller account, which I've mentioned before, and I use that for study trades. I use that to do other things, and I've also got a longer term account, which I'm trying, as I have been for the last 20 years plus, to hold on to trades. So that's another study that I've been doing for a while. But the UC trade, like I said, it's good to have something separate that you monitor. I'm trying to learn the pair. I'm trying to, and I've been for the last couple of years, trying to understand the pair. The correlation between oil prices and the way oil moves and the way that UC moves. And I like the study, basically. I like the study, and I like to keep on top of things. So it's just something for me to really sort of sink my teeth into, because I'm used to euro, I'm used to cable, because I've been trading them for a while. So it's all good. So anyway, went off on that rant. Going back to the euro, again, messy, quite messy, but I would like to see a little bit of a grind lower. And again, there's no rush. I mean, if euro opens up, it doesn't really matter what it does when it opens. It's after that. So if it grinds higher and it starts to reverse and it starts to come lower, maybe later in the week that it's down here, for example, and I'd expect this low to be taken. So I could potentially take a short into this low. It's not as simple as that. Obviously, you have to look at lower time frame order flows and see what's actually happening. But ultimately, the main levels for me you know, are down here, the 112.15 to 112 big figure. This is what I'm still expecting on the cards. If it rips and gets through 113 big figure and 113.40 to 113.15, it really starts to grind through this level, and it's kind of in the middle of the, you know, the whole range. Then I'll see. I mean, maybe there'll be nothing to do this week, and it'll be next week's trade. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. So I'll leave it there, guys. I'll be back tomorrow sometime in the afternoon, or possibly in the morning. Actually, I might be able to get a video out in the morning, and I will speak to you in that video. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about some other ideas as well, and start to introduce some other things which I've been meaning to get into one of these videos at some point. So I'll probably do it tomorrow, and yeah, and that's it. All right, guys. So I hope you're having a great weekend. As always, the email address is there if anybody wants to ask any questions about what I'm showing, and I will speak to you all in tomorrow's video. All right, take care. Have a great Sunday.